From the Times, the man suspected of shooting 2 National Guard members, I'm not going to give his name here, was once part of a CIA-backed paramilitary group, one of several so-called Zero units. That's according to Afghan and U.S. officials. These units, formerly known as counterterrorism pursuit teams, were trained to conduct night raids and clandestine missions across Afghanistan during the U.S. war in that country. By the time the United States had withdrawn from Afghanistan in August of 2021, the units had officially become part of the Afghan intelligence service and included thousands of members. As the Afghan military dissolved and the U.S. military scrambled to evacuate thousands of people during the Taliban's rapid takeover, the Zero units were essential to securing the remaining U.S. and NATO bases in Kabul, which is the capital of Afghanistan. For some Zero unit members, this ensured their eventual evacuation to the United States. This was the deal. The suspect received asylum from the U.S. government in April of this year, according to 3 people with knowledge. The shooter was assigned to the 03 unit, according to an Afghan intelligence official speaking anonymously because he's not allowed to comment publicly. The unit was responsible for operations around the southern province of Kandahar and beyond. Though the unit was based in the south, much of its leadership and members, like the shooter, were from Afghanistan's east. After the Taliban took over Afghanistan, many of the unit members were evacuated with the United States' help, including its last commander, and resettled in the Seattle area. Now, several former members of the Zero units living in the United States were terrified by what had happened. Reached by phone, they said they were trying to live like responsible citizens, working to build a life from scratch. The Zero units were largely recruited, trained, and equipped and overseen by the CIA. That's according to Human Rights Watch. U.S. Special Operations Forces working with the CIA also provided the units with ground support and intelligence during their operations. Afghan officials told The Times in 2021 that their salaries were paid by the CIA. Just days before the shooting, a judge had ordered Trump's deployment of the Guard to D.C. as unlawful. She ruled it unlawful, but stayed her order for 21 days to give Trump time to appeal. Trump did not withdraw the Guard at that point, and in my personal opinion, Dana, those National Guard troops should never have been there in the first place.
100% agree with you.
Our hearts go out to their families and everyone impacted by this tragedy.
Well said, my friend. All right, this one is from Gallup. Trump's job approval rating has fallen 5 percentage points to 36%. That's the lowest of his second term, while disapproval has risen to 60%. The latest decline follows 3 months of stability, with the 40% to 41% of Americans expressing approval of his handling of the presidency. I'll know all those numbers are very confusing. I just want to focus on that disapproval rate of 60%. His prior second term low in approval was a statistically similar 37% in July, and his all-time low was 34% in 2021 at the end of his first term. That was after the January 6th attack on a Capitol. After dropping 11 points in October to 15% amid the federal government shutdown, Americans' approval of the job the Republican Congress is doing is essentially unchanged at 14%. That means almost 80%. And I know there's some numbers missing there, but that's 80% of people are disapprove of the job Congress is doing. That's huge and really good news for the midterms. The Republicans currently continue to offer a more positive rating of the Republican-led Congress than Democrats do, but the party gap is much narrower than it was earlier this year, as Republicans' approval has sunk to 23% from 54% in September before the shutdown began. Yeah. Meanwhile, 15% of the independents and 4% of Democrats now approve of the way Congress is handling its job. Who the fuck are the 4% of Democrats who are happy with what's going on?
I think that's the margin of error. I think there are 0.
It has to be. It has to be.